What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing.
Before Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, the atmosphere wasn't exactly welcoming. Critics, including league legend Diana Taurasi, voiced doubts about her ability to handle the jump to the professional level. Taurasi even predicted that Clark would face a harsh reality in the WNBA, more of a warning than encouragement. The message was clear: no room for illusions here. At the time, Clark was seen as a talented but untested rookie. Fans were curious, critics were skeptical, and seasoned players seemed to keep their distance. Each interview and comment from WNBA veterans seemed to pile more pressure on her shoulders. It felt like Clark wasn't just expected to play well, she had to prove she belonged in a league built over decades. Many questioned whether she could meet the hype, with comments suggesting she'd struggle against real competition. But when the season started, Clark didn't just show up, she made her mark on every game, leaving no doubt about her talent.
All year, Clark catch and shoot, and knocks down her second three. Very well executed for Caitlin Clark.
That harsh reality everyone predicted for Caitlin Clark didn't break her. In fact, it fueled a shift in perspective. The doubts didn't vanish overnight, but they began to fade under the weight of her undeniable performance. What once sounded like ominous warnings from critics, like Diana Taurasi's remarks, quickly became outdated. Clark wasn't just surviving, she was rewriting the narrative. The skepticism that initially surrounded her started to crumble. If she didn't falter under the first wave of pressure, what could her critics do but watch as their assumptions fell apart? From the moment the season tipped off, Clark wasted no time proving why she belonged. Game after game, she didn't just meet expectations, she shattered them. Her impact on the WNBA was seismic. She broke records, drew in record-breaking viewership, and sparked jersey sales like never before. Even fans who had never paid attention to women's basketball started tuning in. In just a few months, Clark transformed doubt into curiosity, then admiration, and finally, unanimous applause. The league, once seen as the challenge Clark would need to overcome, now found itself adjusting to her. Instead of being shaped by the WNBA, Caitlin Clark became the force shaping it.
So many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important, and that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, I try to just be real and authentic. And
the arenas were packed, not by coincidence, but because Caitlin Clark had turned women's basketball into must-see entertainment. Fans flocked to witness something fresh, genuine, and magnetic. By the end of her rookie year, she had broken through the cycle of doubt. Even the harshest analysts had to acknowledge the phenomenon she had become. The whispers of her being too naive for the professional level vanished, replaced by widespread amazement. Clark wasn't just a standout player, she was pivotal to the WNBA's growth. Those who had doubted her had to swallow their pride. The critics who predicted her failure now faced an uncomfortable truth: Clark didn't stumble under pressure, she soared above it. Her success left them scrambling to reconcile their earlier skepticism. Diana Taurasi's once foreboding remarks now seemed misplaced, as Clark dismantled the doubts and redefined the game's standards. The reality Clark delivered wasn't harsh for her, it was harsh for those who underestimated her. She turned skeptics into spectators of her greatness. The same voices that doubted her ability to handle pressure were now silent, unable to deny the undeniable. In just one season, Clark transitioned from a promising rookie to a fully established star, forcing even her harshest critics to acknowledge her brilliance or risk looking out of touch. Her influence didn't stop on the court. Clark became a cultural and media sensation, making waves far beyond basketball. Being named *Time**S Athlete of the Year and appearing on *Forbes**S list of the 100 most powerful women in the world wasn't just a recognition, it was a declaration. Her impact transcended sports, attracting sponsors, businesses, and media outlets that had once hesitated to invest in women's sports. Clark's impact on the WNBA didn't just energize the league, it transformed how the public viewed women's basketball. Interest, once lukewarm, grew into full-fledged enthusiasm. Fans now proudly declared their support for the league, captivated by Clark's electrifying presence. Even during the off-season, when attention typically wanes, her name stayed in the spotlight. Discussions swirled about her future, what record she'd break next, and how the league would rise alongside her. The narrative had flipped entirely. What once revolved around doubts about her ability to handle professional competition now focused on how Clark had elevated the WNBA to new heights. Even when she wasn't playing, she remained a focal point of conversation, proof of her undeniable influence. Acknowledging the greatness of a younger player isn't easy for legends, especially when they expected missteps rather than triumphs. But established icons of the game began to recognize the inevitable. Caitlin Clark had changed the landscape. Candace Parker praised her extraordinary talent. Lisa Leslie noted her groundbreaking media presence. Maya Moore, Clark's childhood idol, highlighted how important it was to have such a vibrant role model leading the way. What started as skepticism evolved into admiration. The narrative shifted from, "Let's see if she can handle it," to, "She's shown us all why she's here." Diana Taurasi's once critical comments now felt like a distant echo, out of sync with the reality Clark had masterfully orchestrated. In this new era, instead of holding on to outdated skepticism, legends of the game extended their hands to Caitlin Clark, acknowledging her as more than just a momentary sensation. She was now recognized as a cornerstone of a revitalized WNBA. Distrust turned into admiration, and if even the league's most revered figures embraced her energy, what was left for those who still resisted? Not much, except to finally accept the undeniable truth: Caitlin Clark was here to stay. With the off-season buzzing with talk about Clark, one question loomed large: what's next? If she made such an impact as a rookie, what could she achieve with more experience, stronger chemistry with her teammates, and a league that better understood how to keep up with her abilities? The next season promises to be nothing short of a spectacle. New records, fierce title races, and historic matchups, all eagerly anticipated by fans and critics alike. Clark's first year left a mark so indelible that no one dares to look away. Even her initial doubters now wait in anticipation, knowing she's far from done. The league, energized by her influence, is poised for greater attention, bigger investments, and unprecedented growth. The excitement is palpable, with each game announcement and broadcast building momentum. By challenging and ultimately overcoming criticism, Clark didn't just illuminate her own path, she lit the way for the next generation. Her rise represents a shift, a new benchmark for excellence and opportunity in women's basketball. If this is just the beginning, the possibilities ahead are limitless. What began as skepticism and doubt has transformed into universal admiration and respect. Diana Taurasi, once the voice of harsh realism, reminded everyone that professional basketball wasn't a fairy tale. But Caitlin Clark didn't just survive that reality, she conquered it, reshaped it, and elevated it to unprecedented heights. After a groundbreaking year filled with record-breaking performances, prestigious awards, and an influence that extended far beyond sports, there was no room left for old criticisms or doubts. Clark made it impossible to ignore her. She wasn't just good, she redefined what greatness looks like, shattering expectations and rewriting the narrative. The critics, once eager to predict her downfall, now watched her rise as an unstoppable force. Her success became undeniable, closing the loop on a journey that started with heavy skepticism. A rookie who was expected to crumble under pressure instead became a star celebrated on and off the court. The skeptics will have to get used to hearing her name everywhere because Caitlin Clark hasn't just arrived, she's here to stay. She's changed the game forever. Doubt her at your own risk, because she's already proven she's unstoppable.